on the Valentine's edition of SportsCenter. Everyone is making their wishes for a special Valentine. Some are wishing for a big gift. Some are hoping for a real expensive gift. And if a diamond is your best friend, you might be in love. Others are just looking for someone new to spend some time with.
I asked him how he felt, and he said, well, on the scale of 1 to 10, I'm 15.
But not everyone can always get what they want. Some of us may even have our hearts broken. Whatever happens, there is no need for a lover's quarrel. When Cupid is around, everyone gets in the romantic mood. SportsCenter, where we've got a special Valentine for you next.
Well, hi there. Welcome. Thanks for joining us on the SportsCenter along with my, well, my Valentine, Linda Cohn.
By the way,
Brett Haber.
Oh, Brad, I want to say the roses were stunning, and thank you.
Touching.
Okay, ahead on the show, a thorn in the side of the Dallas Mavericks. It moves to Miami. How do you pronounce Mike Mussina's name? Not the Mike part, of course. And has Jeff George finally made up his mind?
Yes, and on this holiday of love, the Atlanta Hawks would like to get some from their fans for a change of pace. Contrary to everything we've learned from watching Field of Dreams over and over again, Lenny Wilkens did build it, and still they don't come. The Atlanta Hawks, in their 20-game home win streak, have impressed just about every hoop fan in America, except apparently the ones who live in their own city, who account for just the third lowest home attendance in the league. Only about 13,000 per night have been showing up for the best home team in all the NBA. They did show up in force tonight, but could that be because the Bulls were in town? Tony Kukoc getting the start in place of Wormy. It's the coach's decision, and it kind of worked early. Bulls out quickly. Jordan just toying with Steve Smith, part of the 10-0 run. Hawks would answer, though. Mount Mutombo moving past Mount Longley. Hawks down 3. In comes the Worm, and he doesn't take long to stir things up. Tussles with Mutombo. We have offsetting penalties. Third quarter, Atlanta gets a little sloppy. Kukoc steps into the passing lane, takes it all the way the other way, and Chicago leads by 6. Then it's the Bulls getting careless. Leitner, he's deceptively quick with those big hands, and he throws it down. And then more heated action in the third. That's Leitner and Rodman tussling in the paint. Meanwhile, it's Ty Corbin outside. He's going to shoot the 3 and not pay attention to what Leitner and Rodman are doing. Meanwhile, more shenanigans. Watch Leitner. He's had enough of the Worms. That's a headlock and a takedown. No 3 count. Fourth quarter, Bulls by 4. Kukoc slicing in. Tony had 21. Now we go to under 20 seconds to go. Bulls by 1. Jordan going to free himself up to take the shot. And quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, that is a brick from Michael Jordan. He can't believe it, so much so he's got to argue with the ref. Nobody touched him. Let's take another look at the shot. I know, Michael just shot a brick. Someone barely touches his shorts. Let's not complain. Michael, not used to not getting the call, has some choice gestures for the ref. Meanwhile, Hawks with one more chance. Leitner, probably not the guy they wanted to take that shot, shoots a desperation 3, and it doesn't go. Michael frustrated, but he comes away with the win, 89-88. Jordan had 30. The Bulls improved to 15-2 against Central foes, and they still haven't lost a payback game since Jordan came back from baseball. Mutombo had 19 and 19 in the loss as Atlanta's 20-game home win streak comes to a close. At the Beehive, Pistons and Hornets, first quarter, Lindsey Hunter with the steal, and we are going the other way. Joe Dumars for 3, wide open on the wing, and it is plenty good. Pistons lead by 8. Second quarter, Hunter again, this time a three-pointer of the tougher variety with Vlade's hand in his face, but that one's good too. Pistons lead by 7. Grant Hill had only 4 points in the half. Doug Collins says, I want you to take it to the hole strong, and you know what? He took the advice. I'd like to see that again. Grant, a good student, takes instruction. Big-time facial over Vlade. Pistons lead by 6, but the Hornets come back, and Vlade comes back in the lane, falling away, and he's fouled. Hornets down only 3, and in the fourth, more Vlade. Can you really ever get enough Vlade? Driving and score. What is this? A little scoop, dipsy-do, reverse. Hornets still down 3. Where do the Pistons go? Back to Hill. It's an excellent game plan. The floater, it's good over 2 defenders. He had a big game, and the Pistons get a big win. They take it by 6. Hill scores 25 of his 29 after the break as the Pistons win for the 8th time in their last 11. Joe Dumars and Lindsey Hunter added 20 apiece as the Pistons improved to 12-5 against division foes. Linda.
Today, Pat Riley interrupted his already overachieving 38-12 season as head guy to the Miami Heat to pull off a trade to get unhappy and underachieving Jamal Mashburn from Dallas in exchange for Sasha Danilovic, Kurt Thomas, and reserve Martin Mursep. Riley confident he can transform Jamal Mashburn into the player he was before this forgettable season, a season in which he's averaged just over 10 points a game. Used to be able to count on Nash for at least 20. Miami fans will have to get over losing one of their favorite players in Sasha Danilovic. The outstanding play of Vashawn Leonard made Sash expendable. It's a homecoming, meanwhile, for Kurt Thomas, the former TCU star, just 24 years old, still recovering from ankle surgery. For Riley, this was a deal that just had to be made.
Incredible.
If there was an opportunity to get a player that was frontline and young and long-term, that we would do that. And we look at Jamal as a frontline player for a long period of time.
I think the change is good for teams and players. I think it's time that this one changes some. Our product hasn't been that good, and it's a process that, you know, this is a start, and we're not finished yet.
Well, in hopes of solving the mystery about Mashburn's ineffectiveness, it's simple. The effort, the results were not the same for Jim Clemens as they were for his first NBA coach, Dick Motta. If Riley can get Motta-like results, he just might succeed in doing what all Eastern Conference playoff teams hope for, that is putting off playing the Bulls for as long as possible. Well, your bet is as good as theirs as to how the Lakers will respond without Shaquille O'Neal. He's out for the next 8 to 10 weeks with an injury to his left knee, a setback he suffered Wednesday against the T-Wolves. When the big man was missing in action earlier this season, L.A. followed a 22-point loss to the Clippers with a stunning 16-point win over the Bulls. Go figure. Shaq's old buddies, the Magic in Minnesota, the place he suffered the setback. Kevin Garnett, the All-Star, misses the J. Dean Garrett, the rebound, and the follow. Fourth quarter, T-Wolves up 86-77. Chris Carr looking for points. He's dangerous when distant, you know. Kevin McHale in the stands supporting. Magic coming back with 3 quick plays. Penny Hardaway driving, lays it in. They're not done. Penny again, laying it in, plus the foul, and then Brian Shaw. I told you these were quick. Penny tipping it in. We're tied at 94. T-Wolves moving along on the break. Porter over to Garnett for the dunk. Timberwolves up by 4. Magic down 1, though, as we move ahead. Dennis Scott inbounds pass, stolen by Doug West. Brian Hill bumming. Kevin Garnett says, in your face. But he probably said it a lot nicer because he is a nice guy, and he is, Brett, an all-star. There's the final, 104-100. Minnesota is simply an exciting team to watch, giving it all day in, day out. Magic 0-3 since the All-Star break. Garrett recording his 5th double-double with 16 points and 14 boards. Sonics, Rockets in the battle of the last 2 Western Conference champs. There you see it at the break, 53-45 Seattle. We'll have highlights of this one later. And just a reminder, you can catch Seattle against the Lakers on ESPN Radio Sunday, 2:37 Eastern Time.
Now, Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson gave his annual State of the State address this week, and as his special guest on the House floor, his honor was joined by Packers defensive tackle Gilbert Brown, who was supposed to represent all that is well and good in Wisconsin sports. As it turns out, 5 days later, he may represent all that's well and good in Florida sports. Reports say the Jaguars are on the verge of signing Brown, who became an unrestricted free agent after the Super Bowl. Some other NFL notes: despite the best advice of June Jones, the Oakland Raiders will indeed sign quarterback Jeff George. Reports say the 5-year, $26 million deal will be finalized over the weekend. The Raiders will have a presser tomorrow. Of course, the team needs to free up some cap room to do that, so the Raiders are apparently poised to trade backup Billy Joe Hobart to the Bills for a 3rd-round pick. Other personnel moves: ESPN's John Clayton reports that the Chargers have released center Courtney Hall. The Giants say so long to Jesse Campbell and punter Mike Horan, although they did sign Keith Hamilton. Not a great day to be a punter. Jeff Gossett gets the boot from Oakland in the Jeff George salary purge. The Jets announced that longtime linebacker Kyle Clifton has retired, and the Niners have waived touchdown Tommy Vardell. Meanwhile, the Steelers may have lost Jerome Bettis, even though they thought they had met his financial demands. Bettis remains a free agent despite an offer by the Steelers of $13.2 million over 4 years. The Steelers had been led to believe that Bettis wanted a salary comparable to that of Chris Warren in Seattle, which they offered. Negotiations remain ongoing. Linda.
It would be as unlikely as somebody actually recording a remake of a song from Air Supply. But tonight against Dallas, Detroit's Brendan Shanahan attempted to score a hat trick in his 3rd consecutive game. The NHL says the feat, if accomplished, could be unprecedented. They're not really sure. For what it's worth, Shanahan's 6 goals over his last 2 games have come on 6 straight shots. Past the hat, and here we go. There's Brendan. Wings up 1-0 in the first. They have the extra man. Shanahan in front. One times it past Arturs Urbe. Man, he's good. But Stars come back still in the first. Dallas 4-on-3. Pat Verbeek finding Joe Nieuwendyk, who does not miss from there. Stars down 2-1. 2 minutes later, Nieuwendyk. One was not enough. There's number 2, the snapper. We're tied. This game was physical, but you know what? That's hockey, and that's good. This Slava Kozlov getting the worst of it, and then late in the first, we're tied. Wings 2-man advantage. You think they'd blow this? No way. Larianov puts it in to make it 3-2 Detroit. More rough stuff. Tart Harvey sending his Valentine's wishes to Jamie Pusher. Then Joey Koser just doesn't want to let go of Daryl Sador's stick. Chris Draper would find comfort eventually by laying it on Bill Heward. Literally.
The Wings clear it.
Can we get an update? There's our update there. Wings still holding on to that 3-2 lead in the third period there. Detroit coming into this game 6 points back of first place Dallas in the Central Division, but the Wings have 3 games at hand on Dallas. And for the record, Brett, the Air Supply song, I'm All Out of Love, wasn't awful.
I'm so lost without you.
Darren Poopa back in the nets. First time since the season opener. Tampa and the Caps. Not a good night for the Poopster. 3-1 in the second. Andre Brunette. Loose puck puts it in. Capitals go up 4-1. Number 3 for Brunette. And that was it for the Poopster. Rick Tabaracci comes in. Third period. These guys know how to throw some punches. Berube and Rudy Poshek. Don't get ever in the way of that. Now 4-2 Caps in the third. Chris Bratton. Phil Holder. That's the goal. That cuts the lead to 4-3 on Holder's fourth. A minute 21 later, Paul Yzerbark skates in and scores. We're tied. Yzerbark's second of the year. Late in the third now, Joe Ricci slams hard into the boards. He had to leave the game. Now it's 4-4 in overtime. Hunter centers to Connor Walchuk, banging in the loose puck. Connor Walchuk's second goal of the night. And a very exciting and dramatic Washington Capitol win in overtime. 5-4 the final. Tampa Bay has lost 4 in a row, 8 of its last 9. The Caps snapping their 4-game home losing streak.
By the way, just for comparison's sake, Caps defenseman Joe Ricci, whom you saw in that highlight, weighs about 220 pounds when he slammed into the boards. Michelle Kwan, she weighs about 99 pounds, and I bet she could skate circles around Ricci and all his buddies. She'll be on display tonight at the U.S. Championships. Highlights of that are on the way. Also ahead on our program, Speed Weeks continue at Daytona. Everybody's equal in the IROC series. We'll break down the latest race before the race as they break down. Speaking of races, the Clippers are quietly climbing into one in the Western Conference playoffs. We'll head west. And also south, the hot stove is finally off. Spring training is on. We'll head to the ballpark when Linda and I and Poopster come back.
Honey, I'm home.
Come along on an all-new Griswold vacation.
Can you believe they used to test H-bombs on this piece of property?
Don't you worry about radiation.
Hose down now, kids. Chicken's almost ready.
When the torch is passed to a new generation.
10 years of tap dancing lessons, and this is how you repay me?
Somebody's gonna get burned. Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid. Vegas Vacation. Rated PG. Now playing at a theater near you.
Team is important, part of a team. Like a family, because, hey, you can't win unless you're part of a team. There you go, right there. Good. When I go out on the court, I give everything I have and I leave it out there. This is great. I mean, you have fun with your teammates. You hang out with your teammates. Yeah, we fuss and fight, but hey, we fight for each other on and off the court. We're family, yeah, but we're going to take care of business. It's not about one, it's about togetherness. That's what team is all about. I want it to be real, you know what I'm saying?
Life is empty, torturous.
I yearn wanting more.
Wanting more.
There's a burning from within.
Here's a tip. Eat something. I recommend the new Extreme Carvers from Boston Market, like the chicken cheese stick. Juicy, slow-roasted chicken, peppers, and onions smothered in 4 ooey-gooey cheeses. Now get a free side and a free drink when you buy an Extreme Chicken Cheese Stick. Only at Boston Market.
Well, that burning from within, it's called hunger.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Plymouth. One clever idea after another. That's Plymouth. And by Southern Company, the power company with the energy to serve your world.
Welcome, everyone, to Daytona International Speedway. Alongside Benny Parsons, I'm Carl Ravitch. Over that wall behind us is, of course, Pit Row, and beyond that, the Super Speedway. Friday here at the Superspeedway, the International Race of Champions, better known as IROC, and a different experience, isn't it?
Well, it's unbelievable. This year they had 12 identical paired cars, and Carl, this was as close as these cars have ever been, and the drivers were very, very close as well.
It is the best race we have seen throughout the week. As Benny said, 12 cars identically prepared, 12 of the best drivers from all different series, including, of course, NASCAR. And Dale Earnhardt, a 7-time IROC winner, 3 wide heading down the backstretch. Earnhardt goes up high, Alex Zanardi in the middle, Jeff Gordon down low, and then Gordon in the red car would actually take over the lead for a while. The race featured 10 lead changes in the first 15 laps. That's Darrell Waltrip in the yellow Pontiac. He heads up to the front thanks to some drafting help from Alex Zanardi. Zanardi, representing the kart series, ran strong all day, but ultimately would bang into the wall out of turn 4. Zanardi would end up finishing 10th. Dale Earnhardt makes his move to the front, and there's Dale Jarrett, who battled all day with Al Unser Jr. They would, too. Bump right there. And, in fact, Dale Jarrett says that it was Earnhardt who pushed Unser Jr. into Dale Jarrett's car. There's little Al inside victory lane at Daytona for the first time ever. The top 6 of the 12 go like that. Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt is there. Randy LaJoie finished 4th. Tommy Kendall had a good ride, as did the defending Winston Cup champ, Terry Labonte. After the race, little Al talked about his first trip to victory lane here at the Superspeedway.
I'm just so happy to be in victory lane at Daytona. I've tried so many years to get here, 12 to be exact, and my dad has come down and won this race a couple times in that 12 years, so it's great to finally make it.
It was a great race. Maybe I saved a little luck for Sunday here, and it's not winning this, but little Al did, and that's fitting. He had the green car, and he sort of spooked the green, so one with the green car, maybe he'll change his luck there.
Oh, man, I had a great car, and I lost a cylinder. I think I drove it too hard. I think them cars are set up for them guys that kind of sandbag a little bit, and I was holding mine wide open. I guess I must have got to it, but I was having so much fun.
Well, as it turns out, he had a lot of fun. As far as all-time wins go, little Al's got 11 of them. Dale Earnhardt 7. He had 1 coming into this race, 3 in a row, and 4 of the last 5. There are 5 drivers with 4, including Al's uncle, Bobby Unser. But what does this say about Al Unser Jr. and his ability to come to a track he's not used to, and yet he beats the best in the world?
He's a very, very good race car driver. If Al Unser Jr. wanted to go Winston Cup racing, he would be a threat. He could jump one of these cars, and in just a little bit, he would be battling Earnhardt, not only for victories, but probably for a NASCAR Winston Cup championship.
He was actually asked about that afterwards and said he would consider maybe running 8, including the Daytona 500, but then he said wherever Roger Penske goes, he goes, so if Roger decides to get into it, perhaps we'll see him then. Let's talk about some of the racing that went on. I mean, this was some of the most exciting stuff we have seen all week.
It was phenomenal. Like I said, 12 identically prepared cars, 12 drivers, and they battled all day long like it was absolutely the last lap of the race. Watch them. They're 3 abreast. 12 cars. Jeff Gordon goes on the inside of Waltrip and Earnhardt. This happened all day long. You talk about, and look at all those 12 cars jammed together that we never saw cars there near the end of the race with 5 laps to go as guys were starting to make their deals. Then all of a sudden we saw the cars nose to tail, but not before that. Side by side, 3 abreast all day long.
Are you impressed with Alex Zanardi? He came in here and sort of played the I'm clueless about what I'm supposed to do, and yet he was up near the front.
I was, and did you see him push Darrell Waltrip down the back straightaway? That's something even Winston Cup drivers are afraid to do, but Zanardi just pushed Waltrip down the back stretch.
Tremendous racing. Unser, Earnhardt, Jarrett, all of them banging against each other. There was a race prior to what we saw as far as the Goodies Dash 200 goes, and here you're talking about some young drivers trying to move up, and also some guys who just don't want to give the sport up. It also featured the worst crash we have seen so far during speed weeks here at Daytona. George Crenshaw flipping wildly near the start-finish line. Great news, Crenshaw was okay. He was held at the hospital, but he is now listed in good condition. Meantime, Brian Sockwell goes on to win the race, and he had nudged past Christian Elder with 3 laps to go. Elder finished in 2nd place. For Sockwell, his first ever Dash Series win. And again, Winston Cup regulars like Robert Presley and Michael Waltrip raced in this series early in their careers. And Benny, talk about what you think this type of racing means to the guys at the Winston Cup level. Is this a chance to move up?
This is a chance to move up. You know, somehow you've got to come to Daytona and get some experience at 150 miles per hour, and everybody don't have $100 million to come down here and spend. These drivers can come down probably for $30,000, $40,000. They can drive around Daytona International Speedway. They can get some experience. They can feel what it's like to go around this racetrack. And one of these days when they move up to the NASCAR Busch Series, they'll have a little bit better shot not to go out there and break their neck. Linda Namick, last year's NASCAR Goodies Dash Series champion. He made this year's 300-mile race, the Gargoyles 300. David Hutto, the champion before that, he's in this year's race, the 300-mile race on Saturday, and they came through the Dash Series.
Is what they do recognized by the guys who are at the Winston Cup level? I mean, they talk about other sports and the fact that there are minor leagues, and the guys who are at the major league level appreciate what these guys are going through. Do the Winston Cup drivers recognize that?
Not yet, but they will eventually.
They will.
Yeah.
It has to come to that.
It has to come to that.
All right. Well, guys like Dale Earnhardt, they're in their own world. They're in their own class. They have earned the respect of everybody else. Later on SportsCenter, we will talk about the Intimidator and get more from Benny Parsons. I'm Carl Ravitch from Daytona. Let's now send it back to the studio.
Carl, Benny, the Jets, thank you. Let me be the first to break this to you. Tiger Woods is mortal, but he's got 2 rounds to master his craft down under. Also ahead on SportsCenter, with Shaq at home watching his movie Shazam on video, his Laker teammates hope to perform magic without him.
What brought you into Eagle Hardware's Design Center?
I'm looking for some mini blinds.
Now, this is for your house, or?
For one of our church buildings.
And you looked another place first.
You have more of a selection. They only have one type, and that was more expensive.
So as a church-going person, you'll swear in a stack of mini blinds that Eagle Hardware had a better price.
Well, I don't swear, but yes, I would say they are definitely better.
Eagle Hardware. More of everything.
Spectrum Custom Mini Blinds from Newell. Just bring us your window size and we'll custom cut your blinds while you wait. Spectrum from Newell Window Fashions at Eagle.
Shop, manage money, follow news, sports, and more. You can even choose unlimited internet access for just $19.95 a month. Call now for free AT&T WorldNet service software. You'll enjoy 24-hour customer support and, of course, AT&T reliability.
So, for your free trial offer of AT&T WorldNet service, call now.
AT&T WorldNet service. We're making internet access easy for everyone.
Everything you need to know about Plymouth Breeze, you already learned in kindergarten. Take turns. Share with others. Follow the rules of safety. And oh yeah, bring something really cool to show and tell. The new Plymouth Breeze. One clever idea after another. That's Plymouth.
Golf Update is brought to you by Chrysler, exploring the new frontiers of automotive technology. What's new in your world?
Tiger Woods is down under playing at the Australian Masters, trying to win on a 3rd continent this year. While the presence of Tiger at a tournament can be inspiring for those who watch him, it's been irritating for 2 Aussies competing against him. When Robert Allenby was asked earlier in the week if he was playing for 2nd place, he snapped back, "Everything's Tiger, Tiger, Tiger." There are other players in the field, and many of them are ahead of Tiger, 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 including Allenby. That's right. But Tiger, Tiger, Tiger is 4 strokes off the pace as we speak. Woods said he had a hard time reading the greens. Larry Mize is even with Tiger. Both are at -10. We thought we'd mention Mize's score because, you know what? Everything is Tiger, Tiger, Tiger.
Now, the U.S. Figure Skating Championships are underway in Nashville this week, although many from the sequin set are looking forward to next year's championships in Philadelphia, which also serve as the trials for the '98 Olympics in Nagano, Japan. Some of the organizers in Philly, though, are concerned over possible bad weather in January next year and the fact that, quote, we fall in the middle of the NFL playoffs next year. Just a hunch, but I'm guessing the football fan doesn't go picture-in-picture on the men's free skate. Today in Nashville, they skated the women's short program. Last year's bronze medalist Tara Lipinski with the triple Lutz double toe loop combination. Here's her finale. Moving on to Michelle Kwan with a better triple Lutz double toe loop combination. I, of course, am qualified to judge those. Here's her finale. Hope you enjoyed the spirited read on that highlight. So Michelle Kwan sweeps the judging and appears to be on course for her second straight U.S. title, said Kwan, quote, "Seemed like just another day at the practice rink," end quote. 14-year-old Tara Lipinski, 26-year-old Tanya Kwiatkowski, the youngest and oldest women in the competition, respectively, finished just behind Kwan. But wait, there is more skates and sequins coming up this weekend. The women's free skate will take place in all its splendor on Saturday. You can see that as part of a special edition of Wide World of Sports at 8 Eastern tomorrow on ABC.
Still to come on SportsCenter, more from the NBA. There's a new kid in town. Jason Kidd is back looking to spark Phoenix against a very hot Clipper club.
The engineers of the Pontiac Grand Am design cars for people who get a kick out of driving. Complete with a powertrain built to precise aerospace tolerances. And that's kept more Grand Ams tearing along, even after 11 years, than any car in its class. So buy a Grand Am for a good time. Have it around for a good long time. Grand Am. Built for kicks, built for keeps. Starting around 15.3.
You've been hearing how good Princeton is? Well, now you can see for yourself against Yale. There's Coach Bill Carmody talking to his Tigers. Princeton in control throughout. Gabe Lewellis, the feed to Brian Earl for the J, and then later, Mitch Henderson. Kicking it out to that man again, Gabe Lewellis for 3. Lewellis led the Tigers with 24 in an easy Princeton victory. 81-51 the final. Let's look back. Last season, a special one for Princeton hoops. Another Ivy title, the upset of defending champ UCLA in Pete Carrill's final season as head coach. This year, under Bill Carmody, the Tigers are 18-3. Scoring is up by 5 points, and no team is better in scoring defense in the nation than Princeton. March Madness just can't come soon enough for this group of Ivy Leaguers.
Well, if you're wondering how long it would take Bernie Bickerstaff to get a real feel for Bullets basketball, it took about a day. On his first day at the office, not only did the Bullets blow a 12-point lead against the Knicks, but Chris Webber strained his back and could be out for 10 days, and that, sadly, is Bullets basketball in a nutshell. Bernie trying to get win number 1 against the Nets. First quarter of the game, Jason Williams underneath, puts it up, no good. Here comes Sean Bradley, no good, big shock. Rod Strickland going the other way. Push, push, push. Going to leave it for Calbert Chaney. Who's got a body on Calbert Chaney? Nobody. 6 of 7 for him in the first half. Some people don't like Valentine's Day. Not the affection we're looking for, gentlemen. This is much more like it. Passing is love. Dribbling is love. Fundamentals of basketball. That's Strickland. About the only thing that fell for John Calipari was Kerry Kittles. Watch closely. That's Smarts. He would stay in the game despite falling on his backbone. Fourth quarter, Washington by 15. Chaney drives baseline, slashing, scoring. Bullets by 18. 25 for Jawan, 22 for Calbert as the Bullets snap their 5-game slide. The Nets did have 7 players in double figures, but it didn't stop Bernie Bickerstaff from collecting win number 1 with the Bullets. The Bucks and Raptors at historic Maple Leaf Gardens. First quarter, Damon Stoudemire running the break. Take a listen.
6'11" is a 2-guard. Now watch this. Here we go. Marcus. Oh, what a shot! Oh!
Short staccato phrases, but very descriptive. Second quarter, here come the Bucks. Glenn Robinson fighting through the double team. Keep an eye on Marcus Camby here. He really wants to sit down And he does. Meanwhile, the ball gets to the big dog underneath, hoop and foul. I'd like to take another look at Camby as he goes headlong into the trainer, and amazingly, for the first time in his life, doesn't get hurt. We kid. Second half, Camby would recover the sweet spin move on Robinson, 89-86 Toronto, but the big dog has the last woof, if you will. Stoudemire stripped. Bucks going the other way. Robinson coast to coast and laying it in with the right hand and one, as they say on the playground, and the Bucks are a winner by 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first regular season game played at Maple Leaf Gardens since 1975. Of course, regular season, they played a lot of regular season hockey games there. Glenn Robinson and Armand Gilliam combined for 59. The Bucks have now won just 2 of their last 7, both of those wins coming against the Raptors. Still ahead on the program, more from Daytona. Dale Earnhardt has 29 wins at the Speedway, but never the big one. His efforts to get off the schneid when we come back.
Life isn't just measured in days or years. It's measured in doorways and walkways. Or a favorite sweater, long outgrown. At State Farm, we give our policyholders a yardstick of their own. It's called the Family Insurance Checkup. It helps them measure their own needs and pick the coverage that's right for them. So call your agent for a checkup. Because insurance, like other things in life, is something you never want to outgrow.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Low prices getting better every day. That's gotta make you smile. Always low prices, always Walmart.
This cat's more confusing than the fine print in my contract. What the hell's a diaper dandy or a dipsy-doo dunkaroo? Windex man or a slam jam bam, is that English that he parlez-vous? He calls some cat a PTP'er. Can you say that jazz on TV? It's a kooky speech I can't capiche. Some say that it's baloney, but Dickie V's okay by me. If you're not watching him, baby, you don't know Dick Vitale.
When the lights go down on the International Speedway, they go up. Right across the street, go-karts. Some youngsters dreaming someday about perhaps running across the street at Daytona. Other adults living in a fantasy land, thinking that maybe someday, somewhere, somehow. Well, Dale Earnhardt had his fantasy land snap back into reality. Last year, a bad accident. Yet despite that, 2 wins, 13 top 5s, 17 top 10s. And yet his whole world changed in the offseason. A new teammate in Mike Skinner, a new crew chief in Larry McReynolds. Jerry Punch now with more on the 1-2 punch that the Intimidator now packs.
A beaten and bruised champion. A car struggling to find the front. A disheartened team searching for direction. Unfamiliar descriptions of a racing dynasty.
Things were a little rocky, and then the crash happened, and it got tough from there on. And then we started to second-guessing ourselves, and the team lost confidence in me and everything else around us, you know, and it just sort of started, you know, not really falling apart, but just really wasn't together.
So with the 8th title on the line, Richard Childress searched for the glue, someone to pull the pieces back together, to rekindle some of the same black magic that Earnhardt and Kirk Shelmerding shared on their way to 4 Winston Cup titles in the 80s and early 90s. That man, Larry McReynolds.
Oh, he's good. He gives me the confidence and the insurance that things are done, things are ready, prepared, everything's thought out. There's nothing left unturned. And when he comes to the car and you're off the track, he's talking to you about things that you're thinking. It's going to be good. Larry McReynolds and Earnhardt's going to be good.
And they should be, because now there are 2 cars in the Childress stable. Double the test, double the resources. But for the first time in his career, Earnhardt will be asked to share his secret, to give and take. praise is foreign to a man who earned his hard-nosed reputation on his own.
Well, it's not the teammate as much as it is the technology and the things you can learn. Kevin, the crew chief of the 31 car, and Larry with the 3, they work good together. They talk back and forth, and they compare their notes, and I think it's going to be good from that aspect. And I'm sure when it gets down to racing, the 31 and the 3 comes down to the end of the race, and it's between those 2 cars. I'm not going to give to him any more than I'd give to anybody else.
Only time will tell if a supportive teammate and a composed coach can complement a driver who has given up his bruising style for a more calculated approach.
It works on you a little bit when you see a guy go flipping down through the tri-oval like Rusty did in Talladega, and then here I am flipping down the straightaway in front of everybody because somebody made a mistake. And it's tough on you to go out and just blast through the cars and win and have no second thoughts about it. But as far as the aggressiveness of racing and getting in the corner with them and not backing off, it's still there.
For a man who has won more races at Daytona than any other driver, Earnhardt once again comes to the high banks under scrutiny. 18 winless 500s have left him with a void, but the bitter taste of past defeats is overshadowed this year by a renewed confidence in his car, his team, and himself. What message does that send to the competitors?
Trouble. Them guys are in trouble. They're going to have to race hard. They're going to have to work hard.
Well, Dale Earnhardt, who generally doesn't lack confidence, obviously he's as confident as ever, isn't he?
He really is, and that's because of Larry McReynolds, and that's the beautiful part about Richard Childress. He knew that he had to get someone like a Larry McReynolds to get Earnhardt pumped up. They hadn't won since last March. It's been a long time, longer than Earnhardt's used to going without winning. He had to get somebody to get Earnhardt pumped up, and did he ever? He went out and got one of the best guys in the business, and Earnhardt is pumped.
He should be pumped. He wins the Twin 125, as does the other Dale Jarrett. Last year in the 500, those two battled down the stretch, and Earnhardt's history is well documented. This just another case of not enough.
Well, just not enough. He had a car. Had he been in front, Dale Jarrett might not have been able to get by Dale Earnhardt. But anymore, the cars are so equal, it's very difficult, and no one's going to lay over and let Earnhardt go by to win the Daytona 500. They all know he hasn't won the Daytona 500, but a lot of these other guys haven't won the Daytona 500 as well.
All right, the king of the garage, as you walk through there, have you heard anything this week or seen anything different about the number 3 car beyond Larry McReynolds?
No, not really. I mean, he's always tough at Daytona. He's always good at Daytona. 1990, he absolutely dominated the race. He might not have a car that dominant, but he's good, and he always will be. In 1998, he'll be as good as he is now.
All right, we will not deal in hypotheticals, but certainly something to look forward to on Sunday. The expectations with McReynolds now are even higher. If he should not win, that's something we'll address on Sunday. On Saturday night at 6:30 Eastern Time, we will address histories of Dale Earnhardt. Terry Labonte and Jeff Gordon, all defending or one-time Winston Cup champions, guys who have never won the 500. For Benny Parsons, I'm Carl Ravitch from Daytona. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, gentlemen, thanks. Still to come on the program, it's not the Western Conference Finals, but it could be. The Rockets and Sonics next. This is SportsCenter.
He's a 5-time champion. He's $800. What do you think?
Just can't make the decision on my own.
Here, boy. So you can think about it.
Thanks. I really think he's beautiful, honey. What do you think?
You were sent to me.
Okay, remember him? How about him? Kind of like one of them. Just glad you're happy.
What do you think of when you hear the name Penske? Anything else? Right, but you missed something. Penske Auto Center, the tire place, brake place, battery place, and oil change place, all in one place. Complete professional auto service from the name you can trust, Penske Auto Center. You've come to the right place. Now at over 800 Kmart locations nationwide.
some grudge match women's hoops in the SEC. Number 6, Georgia. Number 12, Vanderbilt. This is Georgia team manager Jesse Cohn. And by the way, Nehru Jackets are coming back in this spring, I believe. This is his wife, Kedra Cohn, taking on Vandy with a steal in the lay and the foul. Meanwhile, here's Lakeisha Frett with a steal of her own. And why not? Going glass in the kiss. Georgia wins it 71-45.
The kiss on Valentine's Day, Brett. All right. You won't find them on the cover of SI. We don't plan to sit down Loy Vaught for a Sunday conversation just yet. But Vaught and the Los Angeles Clippers deserve to be recognized. If the regular season did end today, the Clippers would be a playoff team for just the third time since 1976, when they were the Buffalo Braves. Clipper fever in Phoenix. That's where Jason Kidd is, and he's back. He provided instant offense. He hits the long jumper on his first shot attempt. And then the Clippers' next possession, Kidd on D. The steal, and then Jason the other way. 8 points in 22 minutes for Jason Kidd, and then in the second, Kidd the no-look to Danny Manning. Suns were up 14, 9 assists for Jason Kidd. Clippers trying to cut into that lead. There's Loy Vaught, a future Sunday conversation, finding Lamont Murray. Clippers trailed by 9, and then more Kidd creations. The dish to Ced Ceballos. 24 points. He scored 9 of them in the fourth quarter. Suns led by 10 at the break, and then Kevin Johnson. Remember him? I know Jason's there, but it's KJ's territory. From 3, Suns win. Johnson, 27 points, 8 assists in a Suns victory. 110-93. Phoenix's 4th win in 5 games following that 6-game skid. Clippers, well, they've dropped 2 straight since they had that season-high 4 straight winning streak. Warriors and Spurs, this one goes to Golden State, 108-94. Latrell Sprewell came into this game, the 5th leading scorer in the NBA, added 32 points. Golden State has won all 3 meetings with the Spurs this season. As for San Antonio, the team has now dropped 8 of 9.
Now, speaking of the Warriors, trade winds have been blowing at gale force concerning Chris Mullin and the team's possible desire to trade him off for some playmaking help. But are they being realistic about what the 33-year-old is worth? As David Aldridge reports in the NBA Beat, so far they've been making offers that everyone can refuse.
The Lakers, very quietly, have been trying hard for the last few weeks to get Chris Mullin. But the Warriors are holding out for the moon. Not only do they want a big man, they asked L.A. for Eddie Jones. Jerry West said no. And they turned down the Lakers' offer of 2 future first-round picks, Sean Rooks and Corey Blunt. The Warriors previously had asked the Bulls for Tony Kukoc. Jerry Krause said no. The Hawks continue to offer any combination of their 8 first- and second-round picks over the next 3 seasons, plus Kenny Norman for Mullin. But none of those picks would be lottery selections. Meanwhile, word is the Magic and Sixers have discussed the Dennis Scott-Clarence Weatherspoon swap. Magic GM John Gabriel is a Weatherspoon fan, and that Orlando has talked with Portland about Robinson. Philly is also shopping Jerry Stackhouse again, fearing he will never be compatible with Allen Iverson. Expect at least 2 more referees to be indicted as part of the ongoing IRS investigation into alleged tax evasion. 2 referees, Hank Armstrong and George Tolliver, were indicted on Wednesday and suspended by the league with pay. The IRS has looked at officials who live in California, New York, Pennsylvania, and Virginia, and zeroed in on the Virginia officials. Most of the other referees agreed to pay back taxes and penalties on the unreported income that they received from the exchange of first-class plane tickets for coach seats. They then pocketed the money and didn't report it. Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing spent part of All-Star Saturday in the trainer's room at Gund Arena, having an impromptu heart-to-heart talk with Allen Iverson. The Sixers rookie has been criticized from many corners, including Barkley's, about many things. But Barkley maintained the meeting was a positive one and that he likes Iverson's game very much. However, he thinks Iverson has work to do. Quoting Barkley, "We told him you've got great talent. You've got a chance to take this league to the next level. But you've got to get your game under control and play harder than you ever played in your life." Detroit coach Doug Collins has built his team with 3-point shooters surrounding Grant Hill. And the former Gunner is dismayed at the disappearance of the perimeter game in basketball. Recently, Collins and his son Chris went to a basketball camp for 250 kids. And to emphasize the importance of the jump shot, Chris Collins went out and made 15 of 22 three-pointers. But when Doug Collins asked the campers if there were any questions, the first one to Chris was, "Can you dunk?" "I said, you missed the whole point," Collins said. On the NBA Beat, I'm David Aldridge, ESPN.
David, thanks much. Still to come, the diesel has sprung a leak in the old gas tank. How will the Lakers fare without Shaq and his foo? That's next.
518,400 seconds, 8,640 minutes, 144 hours, 6 days. That's how long you have to save on everything in stock during your Northwest Ford dealer's President's Day Weekend Spectacular. 6 days to lease a Ranger XL 4x2 for $149 a month, or drive Escort just $199 down, $199 a month. Thousands of vehicles to choose from. The President's Day Weekend Spectacular at your Northwest Ford dealer. Almost 5 of the 10 best sellers in America. Again, hurry, time is running out.
Radio to believe it. And now you can, in your own home. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call us toll-free to learn how, and we'll deliver the Wave Radio to your door. Experience big stereo sound from a radio. Call today for more information. It will make a difference in the way you listen to music. A big difference.
ESPN News? Yeah, great. Great timing, guys. Played for 13 years and I retire, and now you're coming out with this sports news channel? Oh, this is great. All these scores and highlights are really going to help my career. Look at me now. Gardening. Thanks from the bottom of my heart. No, really, truly, thanks. Appreciate it. Idiots. Ridiculous. Morons. You guys want to kick my dog while you're here?
Don't you dare tell me that regular season hockey is not exciting. Dallas, Detroit, overtime. Mike Kennedy of Dallas, the shot, and then he gets his own rebound and puts it in overtime, and that is the end of the game. And boy, Kennedy found a nice spot to score his first goal of the regular season. 4-3 the final. With the win, the Wings, or with the loss, the Wings fall 8 points behind Dallas in the Central Division. The Stars taking the only 3 shots in that OT period. Detroit 3 of 5 on the power play. Brett?
Now, aside from pitching every couple of days, Mike Messina has spent his career trying to get his name pronounced right on television, i.e. it's Messina, not Musina. Of course, for $6.8 million a year, you can call him Shirley Temple as long as you write the check on time. The Orioles avoided arbitration today with the right-hander by signing him to a one-year deal worth $6.8 million. Both sides say they'll continue to work on a long-term deal to lock him up. Other signings of note, the Cardinals avoided arbitration with pitcher Donovan Osborne, agreeing to a 3-year, $12.75 million contract. Osborne becomes the second highest paid player on the Cards behind Ron Gant. The Braves and Javi Lopez agreed to terms on a one-year deal worth over $2 million large. Lopez was the NLCS MVP 1 season ago. The Reds inked second baseman Brett Boone to a 4-year deal said to be worth $11.15 million. Boone batted .233 with 12 home runs and 69 runs batted in a year ago. And the Mariners' Randy Johnson spoke about his comeback from back surgery last September to replace, careful, a bulging disc.
Will I be able to be the same Randy Johnson from 95 back, where I was able to dominate a game? I won't know if I can do that until I actually get out there and take, baby steps.
As for Johnson's skipper, Lou Piniella, he will not be available for the first few days of spring training as he recovers from both a virus and rectal surgery. We're pleased to report those two items are not related. Bench coach Lee Elia will run the workouts until Sweet Lou is back on his feet. Linda?
Brett, that might be the first time rectal was said on SportsCenter.
Let's not go there.
Of course, now it's been said twice, hasn't it? No use for that word when we talk about the Rockets and Sonics. Seattle looking to beat Houston. Brett, pay attention. For the first time in 3 games this season. To basketball, to the key. Charles Barkley, I know this sounds shocking, driving right by Jim McElvain for the jam. Sean Kemp can do that. Throwing it down over Charles. Kemp with 13 points in the first half. Hersey Hawkins, his game, let's just say it's a finesse game. Pretty reverse. Sonics in control. In control, Brett. In control. 70, actually an update. 80-60, a 20-point lead as Seattle trying to beat the Rockets for the first time in 3 tries this season. Gary Payton chipping in with 21 points. Mario Ellie was 17, and the Sean, the Rain Man, the Kempster, 17.
Not on Valentine's Day.
Sorry.
It's not right. Just as quickly as Shaq's departure from Orlando knocked the Magic out of the top tier of the Eastern Conference, his arrival in L.A. vaulted the Lakers into the top tier of the West. What, though, of the Lakers' future with Shaq on the shelf, effectively until the postseason? Bob Lee has more on the high cost of diesel.
Having moved the Lakers from the ranks of the very good to the Western elite, and with the expectations of his $120 million contract, Shaquille O'Neal finds a culprit in the mirror. 10 days after injuring his right knee, Shaq did the other knee, and now may not be back until the merry month of May.
It's kind of my fault. You know, when you just come off an injury, you know, you can't favor that injury. You can remember back when I sprained my right ankle. What happened a week later? I sprained my left ankle.
The Lakers now are concerned about the history yet to be written, the playoffs, and getting their ship shape. Without the Diesel, who was working on an MVP season, 4th in the league in scoring, 4th in rebounding, 3rd in shooting, 4th in blocks. The kind of season that's put the Lakers in front of the Western Conference by a game and a half. Heading into Sunday's meeting with the Sonics, 3rd in the West. Another test, perhaps the most significant yet, for the new man in the center spotlight, Eldon Campbell.
As far as our game with or without Shaq, I think that when we play with, similar to a Broadway play with Eldon being the understudy for Shaq, and then we continue with the system that all of us have established together here this year that kind of fits our people.
He does have some recent history on his side. Campbell starred against the Bulls 9 days ago with Shaq sitting out. 34 points, 14 boards, a major victory. And Thursday, with the knowledge that he's now moving from forward to the pivot for most of the rest of the regular season, Campbell went for 19 against the Nuggets.
This is a position I played before. I played the center before. I felt really comfortable down there, and feel good just being a go-to guy. You know, let everybody work off me. You know, I think I played the spot pretty good.
The Lakers re-signed Campbell last summer to a 7-year, $49 million deal. O'Neal recently made a veiled public reference to that deal without naming Campbell, after which Campbell's play seemed to pick up. In fact, Campbell, in the absence of Shaq this year, has dramatically improved numbers. 7 more minutes, 12 more points, and more than a rebound increase. Shaq light.
We're rather identifiable now in our style, and we don't want to try to invent a new way now. Well, let's stay with this and just let Eldon slot into Shaquille's role and let the other guys come in there and into Eldon's role, and everybody else stay the same. We'll be fine.
Already this year, the Lakers were more than satisfied with the development of rookie Travis Knight, the draft pick the champion Bulls renounced. Knight started on Thursday in Campbell's forward slot. He played 28 minutes, had 13 points, and the Laker offense tied the league season high for points. The cream of the West, led by the Lakers, along with the Jazz, the Sonics, and the Rockets. Those teams are so far ahead of the rest that even if the Lakers do stumble, they would have to lose 11 games in the standings, and that's unlikely to endanger home court in the playoffs. So these next 2.5 months become one giant holding action. The Lakers waiting for the big guy and learning a lot about themselves.
I just think this is the time when everybody can, the guys that haven't been getting a lot of time out there, steps up and assume the role as somebody that can come in and just give us a boost. I mean, this is where we really find out how good our team can be without Shaq.
First test for the Lakers minus Shaq comes this Sunday, and if you can't see it, you can certainly hear it on ESPN Radio. Catch the Lakers and Sonics 2:37 Eastern Time, followed immediately at 5:30 by the Magic and Bulls. It's a radio doubleheader this Sunday. Check your local listings for the savvy station in your area. Stay with us. More to come on SportsCenter when my Valentine and I come back.
Okay, guys, to work on your dunking skills, we brought in the experts.
Now there's a great deal on McDonald's Chicken McNuggets.
I want to see some crisp passing.
Grab 6 while they're just 99 cents.
And then take it to the hole.
9 are only $1.59.
You called that a dunk? Easy, Grant.
Right now, 20 McNuggets are just $2.99. Perfect with America's favorite fries.
Watch my slam. Yes! That's a dunk.
McDonald's Chicken McNuggets, America's favorite way to dunk. best games of the NHL season are being played right now. Subscribe to NHL Center Ice as the action heats up and the competition for Stanley Cup playoff spots gets more intense. You'll see hundreds of games, up to 25 a week. For a limited time, there's a half-season package available through DirecTV. It's only $89. Call DirecTV today. NHL Center Ice, from your friends at the NHL and ESPN.
At the GTE Classic on ESPN, the seniors, your leader after one round, John Schroeder up by 1 over Gil Morgan and J.C. Sneed. What a difference a year makes for Schroeder. He opened here in '96 with a 79. Oh, by the way, Brett, you're a big tennis fan, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, John Schroeder, he's the son of Ted Schroeder, a U.S. Open winner in 1941 and Wimbledon winner in '49.
I remember that decade well. Speaking of which, the first leg of the or did you have more?
I really did. More golf.
My
okay,
bad.
That's
my
okay.
bad.
At the Hawaiian Open, Scott Simpson a 2-stroke lead over Peter Jordan and Ed Doherty. Tom Lehman won a 4-3 back, and still another golf effort. Guess what? Annika Sorenstam. She has a 2-stroke lead over Donna Andrews. Sorenstam playing in her first LPGA event since the 12th of January. You know, we're going to get to Brett a bit later on because Brett and I have a lot to take care of. Stay with us.
Plymouth Neon.
I'm Fred Couples. For years, I've played links. Unless you hit 1,000 balls a day, you need forgiving clubs. Black Cat irons and metalwoods are really forgiving clubs. The flare shaft and the cats will give you longer, more accurate shots. The expanded hitting area allows you to smash it down the middle with less misses. In fact, I like links so much, my friends and I bought the company.
Look for the Black Cat promotion at your local golf shop. Buy them now and get big savings.
It's a crucial SEC rematch when Vanderbilt looks to avenge last month's overtime loss to Pat Summitt's Lady Vols and super sophomore Shamiqua Holdsclaw. Vanderbilt versus Tennessee, Monday at 4 on ESPN.
As we strike up the band, time to check who's hot and who's line.
Not
right on the boards and on the ice.
Look out. New Jersey Devils, they're a hot team in the Eastern Conference. You can see them face the Habs tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern on the Deuce. Brett and I will be right back. Stay with us.
If it was baseball, his rookie card would be worth a small fortune. If it was football, every kid would be wearing his jersey. But Jeremy McGrath had other plans, to take a motorcycle and to show the world how far your dreams can take you.
This is not a TV show. This could be you. What would happen to your family? Where would the money come from? For the mortgage, for your kids' education, to live on. But this is a commercial. There is something you can do. Life insurance. It isn't for the people who die. It's for the people who live.
So, guys, what's the best movie about caddies?
Caddyshack.
Most dramatic lighting in a movie about caddies?
Caddyshack.
Best performance by a gopher?
Caddyshack.
Best editing?
Caddyshack.
What's the worst movie about caddies?
Oh, Caddyshack, too.
Shake that!
SportsCenter is brought to you by the Life and Health Insurance Foundation for Education. Everybody needs a plan for life.
The unwanted but never forgotten matchup.